Alright, so what you guys are watching here is the arm training video from I think I was about 14 weeks out at this point. This is the weekend of the Flex Lewis Classic once again. We're up in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, supporting good friend Flex Lewis and his show. And we got some great training in there. We're at one of the few Olympus gyms in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, owned by Sean Barber, also a friend of mine, and he's kind enough to let us use his facilities and crank out some loud music and, tear shit up a little bit every now and then. So we appreciate that. Thank you, Sean. So what you're watching here is just an arm training video. Today, or on this day, I let Matt put me through the ringer here on arms, and that's a good thing. I think basically, no matter how knowledgeable or experienced you think you are or are not, me myself, I don't consider myself a well diversified individual when it comes to my training techniques. I've been doing a lot of the same stuff, basically ever since I started. I've picked up a lot along the way as far as, correcting my form on a lot of different movements, teaching myself to maybe slow down, feel a little better contraction, this, that, and other. But, basically, you can always learn from somebody else, and I'm a firm believer in the best workout that you can do is one that you haven't been doing. So that being said, I'll just let Matt kind of take the reins here and, put me through the arm workout. We started off just a little warm-up on press downs. That's pretty typical, get the elbows warm. Then we went into just some heavy close grip bench there. Worked up to, a good heavy set, and then we dropped the weight down a little bit and did a really good rest pause set. These rest pause sets, man, is something that I've just really been incorporating a lot into my training. Seems like it has a good effect on me personally, simply because, number one, I'm the kind where, I'll do 5 sets of an exercise and really get a crazy pump, but at the same time, I think I'm guilty of maybe chasing the blood a little bit as opposed to actually getting in the muscle and tearing stuff up. And I think people think, oh, well, we're lifting heavy, we're getting a good pump, this, that, and other, and it's working. And it is, and it could be, but it could also work better, with a few twists here and there. And like I said, if your body's accustomed to it, then you're really not shocking yourself that much, and you're really not recruiting any more effort or, stress on the body than you do every other workout. So that's why I believe it's good to change it up. And then from there, it was just basic, we did a few different exercises. Something I want to touch on, as far as me personally with the arm training, I found that lowering the weight, slowing the weight down, the actual movement of the reps, and feeling what I'm doing has been a great advantage to me. Also, it's funny, the larger I've gotten, the more I've had to actually adjust my, form and technique on specific movements, and especially machines. I found that maybe my personal biomechanics and the way that my body moves and is, built, especially being a taller, larger framed individual, I don't always fit into particular machines like I should, or, particular movements or even benches or whatever might not fit me like they need to. So I've learned to, kind of work around that and make adjustments accordingly, tailored specifically to me. That being said, just because you see me do something one way doesn't mean it's going to be the best way for you. It doesn't mean that it's what you should do. It's just what I do, and I think that's the largest part of this sport, is if we all set our egos aside and try not to aspire to be like this person or do this like that person or do this, in the same fashion or style that this person does, I think that's when we really begin to grow and develop our own physiques for what they are, as opposed to somewhat chasing what other people are doing. Because in reality, for example, Flex Lewis is a great friend of mine, and Flex has a tremendous physique. However, if me and Flex were to train the same, would it be effective? Yes, but would it be specifically the most effective way for each of us? Probably not. I'm 6'1", almost 6'2", and Flex is like, I don't know, 3'10" or something, but I don't know, he's like 5'5" or whatever. But the point is there's a large height difference there, and with that, you have limb length and also, who knows, varying injuries and whatnot. And the point is, just because it works great for somebody else doesn't mean it's going to be the best thing for you. So, that being said, yeah, we did triceps, and I'm not really going to go over every single individual movement here. I don't want to bore you guys to death. It's pretty self-explanatory. We did some rest pause stuff. We did some, holds and squeezes, some time under tension type stuff, some supersets, which you'll all see in the video, so there's no need for me to really explain that. Also, in the video you can see I'm wearing an Arsenal Strength hat. I've teamed up with Arsenal Strength, and we are coming out with my own clothing line. It's called The Revolution. The whole idea behind the line is basically, like I said, we're going to have to, if you want to develop in this sport, and I think if you want to be successful in this sport, you're going to have to set your ego aside. And in doing that, I'm not talking about like ego, like, oh, look at me, I'm a big superstar, this, that, and other, which that is part of it. But also, I think it goes a lot farther than that. You have to be able to accept truth and facts for what they are. You have to be realistic with yourself. In your training, you have to be prideless enough to set aside what you think you know and what you think is the most effective methods for you. Same with your diet. The point is with an ego and with pride, we shut ourselves off to so many areas for improvement, just because maybe simply we're too stubborn and too prideful to admit that, hey, we don't have all the answers, and we don't have all the, nothing's set in stone. There are no certainties, especially in bodybuilding, and I believe that. So, that being said, that's my clothing line. It's The Revolution. You can check it out, www.mystrengtharsenal.com, or myarsenalstrength.com, excuse me. Oops. But, it's just kind of a movement. I think the sport has gone towards a more, bigger is better mentality, and I personally believe that sometimes better is not bigger. And sometimes, the better physique isn't always the larger physique, and I think that's something that a lot of us should maybe focus on. Especially, some of us we weren't built to be a Kai Green. Maybe your structure is more of a Frank Zane or a Sean Ray or something like that, and those are amazing, awesome physiques. And I think sometimes we just get so caught up in the size game that as bodybuilders we lose sight of the fact that we're really chasing a flowing, good structured, well-built, well-rounded physique. We're not just chasing pounds and numbers and heavy weights and large amounts of food and more. It's just not always the case if we're actually talking about bodybuilding. It's not always the case in what's better, but that's just my personal stance on that, and that's a very long, drawn-out way to